Hi, good afternoon. I want to thank USEC Attorney Giselle Batapa-Sige for giving me time to speak today. My name is Doc Ligot, and I was asked to talk about AI in the legal profession. I'm not a lawyer, but I think I'm one of the most ardent advocates of AI adoption since it first came out in late 2022. I'm also one of the earliest users of ChatGPT in the Philippines because I was a beta tester for OpenAI early before the public release. So even as early as April 2022, I had very, very high hopes for this technology to be revolutionary. And what I'm going to do today is share with you some of the stories I've picked up since then, which might pique your attention, especially if you are a lawyer who has not picked up or is not considering AI in whatever use. Hopefully, after today, you might get one or two stories that might interest you. So the first is, I think it was quite unfortunate that one of the first highly publicized uses of AI in the law turned out to be a hallucination. So in June 2023, attorney Stephen Schwartz, used ChatGPT to craft a legal brief for his case, not realizing that, especially at that time, ChatGPT basically provided fake legal opinions and citations. And this was one of the earliest publicized cases of AI hallucination, that is the term. And again, since that time, in many fora that I've attended, this is often cited as one of the main reasons professions, not just lawyers, are hesitant to use AI. This idea that AI is providing fake or inaccurate information. Actually, what we know by this time is that the output of AI is basically correlated with the input. So if you prompt it wrongly or prompt it in a very basic way, it will hallucinate. And this brings to mind that it's actually a problem with the user. It's not a problem of the tool. The users, if you misuse AI accidentally or intentionally, don't be surprised if it comes back with bad information. There is a term now that is often used to describe this skill, the ability to prompt AI accurately, and that skill is called prompt engineering. You know, and so I think for lawyers, one of the most basic skills that you can immediately pick up is prompting. Yeah, it's not. It feels like asking questions or googling, but you have to go maybe a couple of steps beyond that. You have to be very specific. You have to provide references, and if you take diligence in crafting prompts, AI can be a powerful tool. So, about 6 months after this story of Stephen Schwartz, the University of Minnesota came out with a study that they conducted in their law school. They conducted a study involving 60 of their students, and some of the students were provided access to GPT-4 and they were all asked to do several tasks. The tasks were drafting a complaint, drafting a short two-page contract from scratch, creating a section of an employee handbook, and drafting a client memo. And they wanted to measure if there were significant, differences in in how the students performed. And again, spoiler alert, there was, no? The most significant difference was the speed. So, obviously, the students who had access to GPT-4 were faster than those who did not have access. And I think this was measurable across all the tasks. But the quality, interestingly, was more mixed. You know, in many cases, the use of GPT did not really increase the quality of the output. It's pretty much the same, except for those students who were already kind of badly performing against their peers, on other tests. So this is an interesting phenomena where AI not just has the ability to improve your output speed, but if you are one of the laggards, in terms of knowledge, you have a lot to learn. AI can significantly increase your ability to learn. And I think this is a phenomena that not just in the legal practice, but education is grappling with right now. Teachers are struggling because students are basically acing their exams and tests and essays with the use of AI. And I think this is no different from, a couple of decades ago when the internet was new and students were actually, banned from using the internet. You can't use Wikipedia, you can't do online research. You have to go back to good old-fashioned libraries. And then by this time, that's already, outdated. We're happy for students to bring laptops to school. So I think we're headed into an era where AI will also be, considered normal. I mean, right now we're in this transition period. In fact, Gen B, no, Generation Beta, starts this year. So babies born this year will not remember the world before AI, which is amazing. Just like Gen Zs were born in an era where there was already the internet. So they won't remember the world before the internet, unlike some of the old people here. So this is already a reality. And again, uh, if you consider the advice that if you can prompt diligently, get good output, now your ability to produce more with less time is enhanced because of AI. Now, obviously, one of the big hot buttons now, no, in AI is copyright. So in February 2023, even before Stephen Schwartz made his ChatGPT case brief, Stability AI, which created the image generator Stable Diffusion, was hit by a $1.8 trillion lawsuit by Getty Images. So Getty is this popular repository of, stock photos. They're all copyrighted. They all have royalties. And you need to subscribe to Getty and get their permission to use their photo. And this is one of those photos being alleged by Getty as the basis for their case. Now, if you look closely, um, they look similar, but they're not the exact same photo. And this is the contention, no, in copyright. Exactly how close or how much does a certain work reproduce a previous work? And in this case, you could argue that although they're similar, they're not the exact same photo. You know, they're not even the exact same characters. Even the photo of Stability looks very distorted, very mutated, because at that time, image generation wasn't as perfected as it is today. And I'll show you some examples in a bit. Now, one thing that might be questioned though, if copyright is dubious, is trademark. So as you can see here on the right, the Getty logo was also reproduced in a blurred way. So that could be basis for trademark infringement. And also evidence that the AI was trained with Getty images, no, without their permission. So should that be an issue? Because training and reproducing are technically two different things. Now, interestingly, fast forward to literally this month, June 2024, literally a few days ago, a federal judge in the US said training AI on copyrighted work falls under their fair use doctrine. And it's up to the user whether that AI will be used to reproduce that work exactly or not exactly. And this is a big blow to those advocates who are trying to prevent the use of copyrighted work in AI. At least there's one precedent already. This is the case of Anthropic naman, because it was alleged that they trained their AI on many, many books, no, and text, and these were copyrighted works. But according to this judge, that should be fair use. Now, what you use the AI for, that is potentially debatable. Now, going back to Getty, literally yesterday, this came out that in their case in the UK, they have been forced to drop the copyright claims because they failed to establish the copyright infringement under UK law. And I think this is what we were discussing earlier, that if it's not an exact reproduction or claim on an original image, then copyright doesn't take effect. Again, it's debatable, but at least in this case, it was dropped. Now, interestingly, as we discussed, trademark infringement is still on the table because very clear, the Getty logo was reproduced. And this could form, along with the Anthropic ruling, an interesting precedent across the world of how AI should be appreciated. Now, in Japan, as early as June 2023, along the time of Stephen Schwartz, already set their own precedent by saying AI is not subject to copyright. And this has obviously alarmed many groups and creators in Japan, which is ironic because Japan is the source of many like anime and cartoons. So there's a lot of intellectual property at stake here. And even there in Japan, the Japanese government said it's just easier to, exempt AI. Again, what you use the AI for will be the cause of contention, not necessarily how you feed data into AI. And, this is contentious for artists because they feel that not only is this robbing them of, use ownership of their work, but it also threatens their profession. You know, in March this year, I posted this on social media. Basically, re-rendered my photo as cartoons, and artists mobbed my post. They started attacking me because they say this encourages people to use AI without considering the livelihood of the artist. Now some of us know under intellectual property code, you cannot copyright a style. You can only copyright a work. And again, that's an interesting loophole that AI artists could exploit. Because obviously some styles are more popular than others, and AI now has the ability to copy styles flawlessly. And that's the contention. I'd like to play this video by James Cameron, no, director of the Titanic, because I think his perspective will probably be, I mean, looking at what happened in the Anthropic and the Getty case, the precedent moving forward.
I've been thinking about lately because a lot of the hesitation in Hollywood and entertainment in general are issues of the source material for the training data and who deserves what and copyright protection and all that sort of thing. And I think people are looking at it all wrong, personally. I'm an artist. Anybody that's an artist, anybody that's a human being is a model. You're a model already. You got a 3.5-pound meat computer. You're not carrying all the training data with you. You're creating a model as you go through life to process quickly through that model every new situation that comes on. You don't say, wait a second, I'm going to go back to the database, 75 million files. Doesn't work that way, right? So we're all models. We're models moving through space and time and reacting based on our training data. So my point is, as a screenwriter, as a filmmaker, if I exactly copy Star Wars, I'll get sued. Actually, I won't even get that far. Everybody will say, hey, it's too much like Star Wars. We're going to get sued. Right. And I won't even get the money. And as a screenwriter, you have a kind of built-in ethical filter that says, I know my sources. I know what I like. I know what I'm emulating. I also know that I have to move it far enough away that it's my own independent creation. So I think the whole thing needs to be managed from a legal perspective as what's the output, not what's the input. The input, you can't control my input. You can't tell me what to view and what to see and where to go. My input is whatever I choose it to be and whatever has accumulated throughout my life. My output, a script I write, should be judged on whether it's too close, too plagiaristic, whatever. And it seems to me everybody's focusing on, because now everybody's seeing the monetization possibilities of libraries and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, so again, it seems like the copyright debate is moving in that direction. That training AI is fair use, but whether you use AI to reproduce copyrighted works, that will be the main bone of contention. No? Now, going further than copyright, I think the ability of AI to reproduce styles and images takes a interesting turn when we consider deepfakes. So here is an image that I generated from AI. I said, give me a painting of a 19th century Filipino priest in the style of Juan Luna. And then with a couple of keystrokes, I'm able to swap my face into this image, and now I am the 19th century priest. So, deepfakes from a creative standpoint present a lot of possibilities. Apart from creating interesting profile pictures, you can come up with interesting scenarios, interesting scenes, which again, creative can use to as part of their artistic workflow. But I think it gets hairy when deepfakes are also used to reproduce, influential celebrities and politicians. And the challenge with deepfakes is that if you try to detect them with the naked eye, by this time, it's already impossible unless there's some obvious tells. And again, in these images, for example, if you did not know who the original person was, would you be able to detect them as fake? It's hard to detect. So we are now rapidly entering an era where deepfakes of anyone can be created. And of course, impersonation could fall under identity theft, RA 10175. But if you look at both the Cybercrime Prevention Act and RA 10173, the Data Privacy Act, the term AI doesn't explicitly appear there. Although it can be inferred to use AI to violate people's privacy or steal their identity. But it has to actually be argued if you think about it. So obviously, this is a policy reform that needs to happen very quickly so that we have an ability to complain. If anyone is a victim of a deepfake, who do they complain to, and what kinds of laws will be used, to arbitrate those cases. Now, images is one thing, video is another. We are now at a point where AI can generate realistic video. Again, for creative purposes, this is great. So both these videos are AI generated. But again, if you did not know if they were AI, would you be able to tell the difference? Which brings us to politics. So not a few days ago, a deepfake AI generated video was created and was used, to opine on the current political landscape of the impeachment. No? So I'll just play the first video first. So this is the original video that created a stir.
Pwede ba kitang matanong?
Yes po.
Pabor ka ba sa impeachment ni VP Sara?
No.
Bakit?
Because it is obviously politically motivated.
I mean, maraming may confidential funds sa gobyerno, iba nga billions pa. But why single out the VP? They want justice, but their justice is selective. If these politicians are really serious in cleaning up the government, then investigate all.
So you can see how compelling that video was. But actually, if you look closely, if you're sharp-eyed, you'd notice that the background doesn't seem to be the Philippines. And these are tuk-tuks from Thailand, although we see a couple of tuk-tuks in Manila also. But apart from that, the video was cutting through several scenes, but the audio was consistent. So to me, that was an obvious tell. But again, how many people would spot that? No. So not too long ago, a parody video came out also, which is in a way a reaction to the first video.
Sabi nila, isa ka raw AI.
Oo, halata namang AI ako, kaya katangahan para sa mga DDS commenter na purihin ako bilang matalinong bata. Sinasabi nila na galing daw sa totoong estudyante yung sinasabi mo raw.
Hindi, palusot lang nila yun kasi wala namang totoong bata na sumusuporta sa kanila. Kaya ginawa nila ako isang AI character.
So I remember I was one of the first to warn people about deepfakes as early as 2018. And obviously deepfakes back then were even cruder than this. And even in the most recent election, people were saying, wala naman deepfakes eh. Nothing happened. And I think these videos started hitting very recently, incidentally just after the elections. So I don't think it would be far-fetched to imagine that by 2028, the next national election, there will be deepfakes used for propaganda. Now, COMELEC recently issued a resolution putting some guidelines that if you're going to use synthetic media or AI, you need to ask permission. And I think this is kind of a surface level guideline, surface level protection, because obviously people who would want to use these tools for nefarious purposes probably won't ask permission. So it now shifts the pressure to detection and of course complaint. You're going to prosecute them under the criminal system. So anyway, so there's a lot to talk about, obviously. And I want to close this with, if you're a lawyer and you're not yet looking at AI, you should. On the upside, as we saw with the University of Minnesota, AI has tremendous opportunities to improve your productivity and research capacity, which is essentially the one half of the legal profession. But at the same time, learning from Attorney Schwartz, care has to be taken in prompting, no? So lawyers need to learn how to prompt, especially when you're doing factual research. Fortunately, by this time, you're not constrained to ChatGPT. There are other tools like Perplexity and Illicit, which give you references to whatever the AI is claiming. So again, these are the technology will continue to improve in that direction. So I think if you're not using AI, you're missing out if you're a lawyer. So there are many hot issues now. The big one is copyright. Obviously, it's an ongoing discussion because technically AI was trained with copyrighted media, and I think we're too far into the process for the big AI companies to kind of roll that back. All that data is already in, and that allows AI to reproduce new work derived from its training data. Now, how close the new work is to an actual copyrighted work, I think that will be the bone of contention, especially with how the Getty and the Anthropic cases have panned out. No? Now, on the downside, the ability to generate synthetic data really threatens the use of video and images as evidence. No? I mean, you think about it as lawyers. Before you admit a piece of video or image, which was previously one of the strongest pieces of evidence to support your case, anyone can now claim it to be fake. And again, detecting deepfakes is very hard given the current tools, and you need experts' opinion to debunk a certain image or support a certain image. So that's going to be an added complication, no, in any litigation using media. And finally, when you add politics and impersonation to the mix, the use of synthetic media can really be, can really cause a lot of problems. So anyway, these are just for me, top of the surface reasons why the legal profession should now embrace AI both as a tool and as a subject matter for cases. And I just want to share this image. I share it often in my talks. These are the 6 proven use cases for generative AI today, and all of the new developments like agentic AI, in a way, just reinforce these existing, use cases. First, AI is an excellent technical assistant and troubleshooter. If you provide it with the right material, with the right, data, you can literally interrogate data in an easier way. And I think that is a massive opportunity for lawyers. Of course, content creation and editing, creating case briefs, contracts, marketing material, you name it, even images, even audio is now fair game for AI. And that can be a massive boost to any law firm or any legal research. You can use AI as a personal support, bot, giving advice, giving coaching. You can use AI to teach new lawyers. Again, the University of Minnesota shows the opportunities to use AI for teaching. So it won't be long where before lawyers train AI to train lawyers. And that's how you achieve the scale that AI makes possible. Using AI for recreation, of course, and of the underrated use of AI for research. Research, decision making, analysis can't be overstressed. So I just want to share what I do. I do capacity building for AI. I've been collaborating with the government, schools to provide the opportunities for people to learn AI. Uh, Anywhere from a half-day course to an executive briefing, all the way to a 3 to 5 day design thinking session. So if you're interested, please reach out. You can reach me at docligot.com. I also want to share the vision. No? I was actually one of the first people to use ChatGPT in the Philippines because I was a volunteer tester as early as mid 2022. I volunteered to test an early version of ChatGPT, and even back then I knew it was going to be a game changer. So my vision, my personal North Star right now is just to get more people to use it. My target is 1 million AI users in the Philippines. Why 1 million? Well, that's 1% of our population, give and take. And if at least 1% of Filipinos used AI for good, imagine what that would bring to the country. And finally, I want to invite everyone to have a conversation with me. Apart from my website, you can find me on all social platforms. I'm most active on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, but I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. And I don't know what to do with TikTok just yet, no, but I'm there. And I also have a YouTube channel. Please check it out. I have a lot of videos. If you enjoyed this talk, you can find more videos there. No? So please go and subscribe. So with that, I want to thank again USEC attorney Giselle Batapa Sige for giving me a chance to talk today. And, I wish you well in the rest of the conference. And please use AI responsibly and help us, help Filipinos use AI for good. Thank you and good day.